The field needs to consolidate ideally, and each candidate wants to be the last person standing to absorb the non-Bernie energy. The problem for Bernie is that, you know, he's unlikely to get an outright majority of delegates heading into the convention, which is going to set the stage for the superdelegates to emerge. And then you're looking at a contested convention, which is also the dream scenario for all of the other non-Bernie candidates, because they're going to go in there with delegates. The superdelegates, let's say, are not going to be favorably disposed towards Bernie, and then each of the remaining candidates will say, like, you know, I'm the pick. So that's the dream that's going to keep every other candidate in the race.
But I think what Andrew's trying to say is everybody needs to just drop out, which is a little bit true. The reality is we've now had 3 contests in which none of the other moderate candidates have been able to consolidate enough support to even really get that close to Bernie. I mean, looking at Nevada, this is a real blowout that we're seeing here. And it's a problem for all of these other candidates because one or more of them need to figure out, probably more in the vicinity of probably 2 or 3.
I was going to say,
figure out who's going to be the one to step back.
Someone needs to pull an Andrew Yang. Like, I've done the math. I'm not going to win.
There's no road forward.
How hard is that for a candidate to have a conversation with himself or herself and her staff and say, okay.
That's why you have to hire Andrew Yang to do the math for them.
It's not gonna happen. I think it's gonna get nasty. Well, you can answer that then.
Well, it's tough going in both directions, Gloria, because, you know, we were talking about if you have a bad night and you get up in front of a crowd and be like, it was a great night. You know, I mean, like on some level, it does ring hollow. It's hard to continue beating that drum. So it's hard to drop out, but in some cases, it's hard to keep going.
How should we judge success for you on Tuesday? Your campaign hasn't pointed to a state you're going to win. You've talked about it being a delegate strategy, and that is what it's about. It's about getting delegates. But tell me where you're going to get these delegates.
Well, we believe that there are places from coast to coast in districts across different states where our message is resonating particularly well. We'll be looking at the math as we continue to push and make the most of the resources that we have. And I think what matters most right now is calling Americans to that vision of what it could be like in this country if we could turn the page on the toxic and divided character of our politics right now. Look, there is already an American majority that agrees with us, that agrees with our party on the need to raise wages and empower workers and do something about climate and act on gun violence. You wouldn't always know it from looking at the outcomes in Washington, but right now the American people are already with us. What's going to be needed is a message, a messenger, and the leadership to make sure that those priorities are met. And I find that true in the reddest of states and on the coast as well.
All right, you didn't name a single state, but give me 2 to watch that you think you should do well in.
You know, I'm not going to name check states right now, but what I will say is that we've been received warmly in so many different parts of the country. Just yesterday, as we traveled through North Carolina and Tennessee after spending the morning campaigning in South Carolina, we see how many voters are ready for that message, ready to turn the page. And I'm so thankful for the ways in which our campaigns theme of belonging and the specific policies we've put forward are resonating at a moment when we're facing challenges that are going to require our country to come together and require a president who is focused on paying attention to reality, looking at facts, and guiding the country forward.
Is there a result on Super Tuesday for you that would change your outlook on your campaign? You know, if you don't keep
every
up
single
the delegates,
day, we do a lot of math on this campaign, and so we'll be assessing at every turn not only what the right answer is for the campaign, but making sure that every step we take is in the best interest of the party and that goal of making sure we defeat Donald Trump, because our country can't take 4 more years of this.
Thank you, Alexandra. Joe Biden is the new comeback kid. And last week I said that some other candidates should pull an Andrew Yang. And what I meant by that is make a rational, principled decision about whether they should be in the race based on 3 things. Number 1, can you win? Number 2, are you helping your cause by staying? And number 3, are you helping defeat Donald Trump by staying? And I concluded that the answers to those questions were no, and I dropped out. Now, every candidate in the race has run a tremendous campaign. They can walk out with their heads held high. And certainly many of them are, or all of them are I'd consider a friend, so it's hard to say you should make this decision. But I will say to them all, if you get out, it's not terrible not having a camera in your face 24/7. Your families will be happy to see you. And you've missed a lot of good TV and movies. Thank you, Alexandra. Joe.
Big news on the election campaign front this evening. Pete Buttigieg, we understand, is suspending his campaign for the Democratic presidential nomination. The former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, the youngest candidate in this race, finished a disappointing fourth in the South Carolina primary, and has tonight, we are told, suspended his campaign. Once again, Fox News confirms that Pete Buttigieg is suspending his 2020 campaign for president.